What's going on, family? Long time no see, long time no talk. Besides some of y'all that we've been doing some deals with, man. What's poppin'? My man Carson in the building, man. I be seeing Carson all over the place, just doing deals left and right, making things happen. What's good, bro?
What's up, brother? How are you?
I've been amazing, my bro. How you been?
I've been doing great, man. I've been doing great. Just living life, can't complain.
Yeah, last time we spoke, you were in a position where like you were getting a lot of deals going and revenue was coming in and stuff like that. You're trying to figure out some moves to make. How's things been since then?
Honestly, I've just been sticking to it. It was working really well, and I've been getting some pretty big pops. So I was like, hey, I'm just gonna just stack cash right now, and I'm not gonna do anything with like investing or hire anybody like VAs or anything yet until something I really feel like is kind of sits in my heart. Like hey, I really want to do that. I didn't want to waste any money or anything like that because what I'm doing is working. So I'm just sticking
Hmm.
to it for now and stacking cash and my next step I'm sure will come to me at some point once I'm always researching stuff. I'm looking into a lot of the creative finance space stuff like that, just trying to fill my brain with as much knowledge from people who are 10 steps ahead of me. So I'm sure that once I want to invest that money, it's gonna be the right thing when I feel it. But right now, just stacking cash, keep doing deals.
Keep on doing deals, bro. That's what this is about. That is what this is about. Screw the shiny object syndrome stuff. That has led me into bad paths in my recent years. So if we stay focused on the thing that's working, the thing that's making us the money, the thing that's gaining us attraction, triple down on it, and we focus for a good 6 to 12 to 18 months, even 24 months, and just doing that. Could you imagine? It's wholesaling itself is exhausting. Like I'm not gonna sit here and lie like it's not, and that's why you don't see many wholesale companies, that are here for 10, 20, 30 years, right? Granted, actually wholesaling is not new. Wholesaling's been out there for a very, very long time, but it's been mainstream over the past 10 years maybe. But you don't really see too many wholesalers stick with wholesaling for longevity forever. You know what I mean? And scale out a business and, sell the business and all that type of stuff. It happens. I'm not going to say that it doesn't, but like the majority of wholesalers crush it. They run it up, get it done, make a bunch of money, make millions of dollars for a few years, 4, 5, 6, 7 years straight. And then it's like, all right, we got to get on to the next thing because this thing is tiring. Running this beast is not easy. It's not sustainable for longevity.
You
So,
hit the nail on that too, though. It's a beast. I've never would have thought or never seen another business that you can create so much revenue in such little amounts of time. Obviously, it's not a little amount of time because it takes so much of your effort, but I'm talking about like year wise, like you can generate absurd amounts of revenue. But like you said, I think it's more one of those things where it's like it's blood money, it's tiring, so you don't do it for a whole career, but it helps you build early.
yeah, 100%. And we can do what we can do to scale it the correct way and get ourselves out of it to a point. You know what I mean? And that's where 3, 4 years, 5 years in to doing it at a high level, you scale yourself out. You hire a sales manager, maybe you bring on a partner to run the sales department and all that type of stuff, and you put the right people in the right places, and you lift yourself out to a point. But you're never gonna fully be completely out of it if it's still running at a very high level. But what that allows you to do is it allows you to go sit at these other tables and build these other businesses and do other partnerships and all that type of stuff. And that's really where your wealth comes in. So, like, enjoy the process while you're in it. Enjoy crushing deals. Do the thing. It's the most fun in the beginning while you're like really starting to gain traction, while you're really starting to do deals. That's when I look back, that's when I had the most fun in wholesaling. Like when I was first getting started, first going on appointments. I can remember, I thought about this the other day. This is funny. I've actually I've had my team start setting me up on some on-site appointments, which we've been freaking absolutely crushing over the past month or two. So over the past like month, myself, I've been going on some on-site appointments. And over the past couple of years, I kind of stopped going on a lot of on-site appointments. We lock up a lot of deals over the phone, anyways. And Brendan on my team here has been locking up a lot of deals by himself without me. Same thing with my other guy Felipe. But over the past like month or so, I'm like, yo, get me on some appointments. Let's really get in the trenches. And I was thinking about this the other day as I was going on an appointment. I had a flashback to when I was like first going on appointments myself. I would get jacked up. Like I would have the music blasting. I'd be jacking myself. I'd be pumping my chest like, let's go. This is what we're doing. Mike, we're here. We're doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd be jacked up. And not that I don't love seller appointments right now. I do. But in the beginning, it's fun. So enjoy that, bro. Take advantage of it. Triple down on it. Even when it gets tiring, even as you're going like in year one, year two, year three, like just keep on tripling down, keep on stacking your chips, like you're saying. And I'm excited for you, bro. I do. I see all that you're doing, bro. So it's not going unnoticed, and you're gonna be a beast. If not, actually, not even gonna be. You are a
I
beast in
really
the space
appreciate that.
already.
That's you just kind of hit a no with me too, because I haven't been going on a ton of appointments, but because I do a lot of like agent or stuff with other kids, so I don't really have to go on a lot of appointments. But my last appointment I was in early July with like direct to seller, and I was getting jacked up in the car, like you said, and playing the music and stuff, and I was like, all right, time to go, and I did some pretty good negotiating with him, and I just closed it on the 29th, and it was a 40K pop.
Let's go. Let's go, bro.
So
Yeah, it's good,
so I
bro.
was pumped. I was pumped about that.
Dude, on-site appointments. I'm a big fan of obviously phone sales. Like I freaking love phone sales. I crush the phones. It's great. My team crushes the phones, but nothing is better than just going on site, getting belly to belly with somebody, like straight up, getting in the weeds and having fun, bro. Those are the funnest negotiations where there's dead silence after you just give the offer, like there is on the phone, but you're in the appointment and you're just straight face like, so we could buy your house for cash for $300,000. And you see them like right beside you, kind of scratching their head, waiting for you to talk, and you just don't say nothing, dude. They're the best. They're the best, and you get the biggest spreads, bro. And it's much easier to get them down on an on-site appointment. So, and right now we've seen over the past 3 years, for some reason, between like the end of June to about the beginning of September, the amount of acquisitions that we get is like bananas. It's like double for compared to the rest of the year. I don't know what it is. I think people just are getting ready for the winter or what, but or my team is just freaking hammering or we're just hammering. I don't know what it is, but over the past 3 years, that is what's happening. So that's why I was like, you know what, team? I know what type of time it is right now. This is the time where we need to convert. We need to get the deepest discounts possible. Yeah, Tim said school year, like people are getting ready for the school year and all that stuff, trying to get to the next phase of their lives and get their kids in school. And it's like you got to take advantage of those times. So when it's really, and actually we're going to transition into what we're going to talk about tonight. This is kind of a good transition. Taking advantage of the times where you know things are about to pop off. So I'm just like, you know what? Let's not even waste no time. Like, if you guys notice, I haven't been doing a ton of. Carson says dog days of the summer. Yes, that's what it is. We're getting in the trenches, bro. We're doing the dog days of the summer. Um, but like over the past couple months, I'm like, you know what? Let's triple down. Let's run it up. Like, let's really get as many transactions as possible. Put me on some appointments. Let's just keep on hammering. And dude, it's like double the amount of transactions that we have been doing um, compared to the rest of the year, which is just interesting. So it's just taking advantage of those times and staying laser focused. So Carson, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate your hustle. I see what you're doing, man. I'm excited for you. Um, but that's a great transition into what we are doing today. Everybody, oh Siri, we're not about to do this. Um, that's a great transition into today. We're gonna go over what we're heading into. Not that any of us really know what we're heading into. None of us have a genie in the bottle. But me and Brendan were having a conversation earlier today, and we kind of foresee some things going on and stuff. And I think it's a good idea to plan, a good idea to have some ideas on what we want to do moving forward if things happen a certain way. So, everybody, welcome to the Blueprint Podcast. We are here to talk about all things business, all things wholesaling real estate, all things kingdom, all things entrepreneurship. We're here doing the thing, and we're excited for it. Our world is crazy right now, like a lot to unpack. And I usually don't talk about things that are going on like in the world, like politics and stuff like that. To be honest, it's not that I have anything against, people talking about politics or anything like that. I just really don't focus on that too much. One thing that my pastor actually told me, this is like maybe 6 months ago. He asked me my views on, some of the politics and stuff, and I was just like, dude, I'll be honest with you, I really don't know. like like I just really don't watch enough news. I don't watch enough of that stuff to give you a solid answer. And he was like, well, let's think about this. You're looking to go into a season where you're trying to have kids and building the family and all that type of stuff. Don't you think it might be wise to kind of understand where the nation lies when it comes to all that and how things are all set up and stuff? I'm like, you know what? You are absolutely right. So ever since then, I kind of been keeping my ear to the streets a little bit. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. So the first things first, us as real estate investors, we got some news that the Fed is supposed to be dropping interest rates in September. Now, it's not a crazy drop. I think it's like a 0.25 drop, which doesn't bring the mortgages down a significant amount. But here's what it does. We've been waiting for a drop for so long. It's almost like all these buyers are sitting here thirsty, just waiting for water. And then all of a sudden, a little crack out of the rock appears, and maybe it's just a couple drops, but like everybody's thirsty. So even just the fact that the Fed has said yes, this is what we're doing September. Um, Agents are calling their buyers, loan officers are calling their buyers, letting them know like, hey, let's get into this thing. There might be some bidding wars, so let's do this sooner than later. I think we might see an uptick. It just makes sense as you know as numbers go down, buyers come out. That's it. It just makes a lot of sense. So that's one thing that we're seeing, and the Fed's been talking about this for a little bit now that they were going to do all these drops and stuff like that. We didn't see it yet here in 2024. Now they have finally confirmed that that's what's going to happen in September. So let's prepare for it. Along with that, we have an election, right? Who knows what's going to happen? Um, if Trump gets in or Kamala Harris gets in, who knows? But one thing I do know. Now, to be honest, if like my when it comes to my views on politics and stuff, I'm very like kind of in the middle. So I don't call myself a Democrat, I don't call myself a Republican. I don't even call myself the independent. I just call myself Mike. Now, some people are going to be like, Mike, that's not patriotic. That's not people died for you to have your right to vote and all these things. I'm not saying that I'm not going to vote, but like I just don't have a political party. So I'm just kind of sitting here like, well, what do I believe? What are my foundational truths in my life? Along with what am I doing in business and all that type of stuff, and how are things going to be affected? And I am going to be honest with you, I have no idea who to vote for. I really don't. So that's kind of my stance on that. That kind of like clears the air. So it's not like, hey, Mike is voting for Trump. Mike's voting for Kamala. I don't freaking know. I really don't. I still got time to figure that out. But one thing I do know, if Trump gets in to the office, this just makes sense to me. And I don't really know too much of his policies and what he's going to take action on and all that type of stuff. But one thing I do know is he's a businessman, right? Now, at the end of the day, am I a big Trump fan? No, I just told you. I'm like in the middle. I have no idea. I'm not like F Trump. I'm also not like great. Trump is the man. Same thing with Kamala. I'm not like F Kamala. I'm also not like, hey, I love Kamala. I really just don't know. I'm kind of in the middle. So for Trump, one thing I do know is um, we all know that he's kind of a loose cannon, which I don't know if that's a great thing for a leader to be. But anywho, as far as business goes, one thing I know for sure is that this dude has built a lot of businesses. He's built a lot of wealth. He's been a developer. He's into real estate. He understands the game. And one thing I know is that somebody that is very focused on that is more likely than not going to make sure that all his assets and businesses and all that type of stuff are going to prosper during this time. So if we think about that, we're like, all right, well, let's just say Trump gets into presidency. Well, let's plan for that. If that happens and he's looking out for his businesses and just the economy in general and he wants everything to start booming, then more likely than not, we're going to have interest rate drops. Inflation might come down. Like the numbers are going to be manipulated so that the market goes up, right? And if the market goes up and it starts booming like it was back right after COVID, then we have a game. We got to be ready for that. Us as real estate investors, we got to be ready to take advantage of that because we don't know how long that might last. What if this only lasts for 4 years, right? And these are all hypothetical situations, right? But what if it lasts for only 4 years, and then let's just say Trump gets into presidency. Obviously he only has 4 years left. He gets in, the market starts booming, crypto goes crazy, real estate goes crazy, like stuff starts going bananas, which I could foresee happening. If that is the case, then we got to be prepared to take advantage of it because we don't know what could happen after that. What happens if after that somebody comes into the presidency? And I don't even know if this is how much I really don't know. I'm being fully honest with y'all. I don't know if the presidency is going to dictate how well the market does or not. Like, but one thing I do know is that change usually brings more change in other systems. So if there's change in the presidency, there's more likely than not going to be change in the real estate system, in the finance system, all these things, right? Like there's more likely going to be change. So if over the next 4 years the market absolutely booms, we got to be prepared to take advantage of all the opportunities. Because if you guys remember, back like right after COVID, dude, you could barely, like, it was almost impossible for you to win a bid on a house. Like, people were going 50,000, 70,000, $100,000 over ask. The buyers that we were working with were freaking getting buku rich. I know some buyers that are still kind of just chilling on the money that they made back when the market was booming now, right? Market has dipped, spreads on flips went down, the amount of deal flow kind of went down, things kind of slowed down a little bit, right? Revenue obviously went down, but they're still living off of the properties that they sold back like, what is it now, 4 years ago, 3, 4 years ago, which is bananas because it was so lucrative back then. Like we were selling flips to people. We were wholesaling properties to people. They would turn it over. They would barely do anything to the property. Easy 100 grand. Easy 150 grand. It's like, dude, what the heck is happening? By the way, on our end, when it came to wholesaling, we were making like double the spreads because the buyers knew that. Right? When the market was so hot, the buyers were just scoffing up anything. They were like, yes, let me just buy it and I'll, clean it up and put it right back up on the market and make it quick 50, 100, 50 grand. Like it's just bananas. So that same exact thing has the possibility to happen again. And it could happen for a decent amount of time. That period lasted a decent amount of time, about 3 or 4 years ago, right? And people did really, really well. So if we know that, how do we take advantage of that so that when that dies down, because what goes up must come down, so that when it comes down, we are in a very good place to take advantage of the spots that are down, because there's opportunities in both the up and the down and the middle. There's opportunities everywhere. But here's one thing I know. No matter whether things are up, things are down, things are in the middle, there's one thing that is going to give you success no matter what. And that is your ability to find and source off market properties. If you can solve people's problems, source off market deals, you will always have success as a wholesaler and a flipper and a buy and holder. Like you're always going to have success, because at the end of the day, if you're a wholesaler, yeah, you might have to get properties at a deeper discount. Yeah, maybe there might not be as many buyers in the marketplace. But at the end of the day, if you have a motivated seller that needs a problem solved, there's always going to be somebody with money that needs to put their money to work. If you're a fix and flipper, you're always going to need a property to flip. You just got to have it at the right number. So when the market is absolutely booming, you're much more loose with your numbers. But if we can really grasp the skill set to go find off-market properties, then we'll never have an issue. And when everything is going up, we'll be able to take advantage of what is happening. So here's my plans. Over the next 4 years, and I kind of foresee this already happening. We actually, dude, should I show this video? Let me show this video to y'all. It's already happening, by the way. Like things are already like Brennan, our wholesale deals are selling like hotcakes. Would you agree?
Yeah, in a matter of days. Which video? Oh, okay. I know the one you mean.
Yeah, let me play this.
Today's video.
Here. Check this out.
I don't know if the video does it justice, but
I think it does. This is bananas. Okay, let me see. Don't mind my messy screen. Okay, we had a property that we wholesaled today. This is a very low-key type of neighborhood, right? All of these cars right here are all buyers.
it's a 900 square foot home, 3-bed, 1-bath.
Dude,
It's a little spot.
all the way down the street that way. All the way down the street that way. Like just absolutely flooded.
33 groups.
And it was 33 groups, which means it was really probably like almost, over 50 people that were at the property. We even had the neighbors coming out. The neighbor came out and was like, wait, is this an auction? What the heck is going on? And we're like, no, we're just, we're selling an off-market property. And he was like, how much? We told him, we're like, 360. Guy was like, all right, how do I put an offer in? Legit. And we're like, dude, this thing is most likely going over ask. The thing ended up going $40,000 over ask. Now, granted, it was obviously a good deal and stuff, and I'm not like trying to brag about the deal, but I want to show you guys like things are happening right now. We sold that property to a buyer who's going to buy it with cash and move in the property themselves. There was a bunch of other buyers. We had 13 offers. So there was a bunch of other types of buyers too, like fix and flippers, buy and holders, and all that stuff. But like the buyers are coming. So y'all better get ready. We better get ready for some fun. And the only way to do that in wholesaling real estate is to get really good at sourcing off-market deals. Now, the problem with that is that there's so many different ways to do it. You could be the direct-to-seller wholesaler. And even at that, there's so many different ways to go direct to seller. You can send direct mail, you can cold call, you could text, you could do all the things, right? I'm not going to go through all that. You could be the dispo wholesaler who's connecting with all the other wholesalers and, who has all the buyers in place. You could be the person in the middle of all that. You could be a wholesaler that knows a wholesaler that is direct to seller, and a wholesaler that has a buyer, and you're simply just connecting the dots. Like, there are so many different ways to make money in real estate in general, and also in wholesaling real estate, which is absolutely crazy. So it is just it's so important if we're going to take advantage of what might happen. Who knows? Either way, you're going to be fine. If you learn the skill set to go find and source and convert off-market properties, you won't have an issue of, no matter who was president. But in the event somebody gets into the presidency and this kind of shifts things to make the market freaking boom, I want to make sure I got everything in place to take advantage of every single opportunity there is. So that's what we're here to do. So here's my thoughts. So for the next, let's just say, somebody gets into the presidency and the market absolutely skyrockets and it goes really well over the next 2, 3, 4 years, whatever. And we have an opportunity to make a lot of money, especially when we know how to source off-market properties. If we are able to source off-market properties, that's the first thing. The second thing is, how do we exit those off-market properties? It's important for us to know how to wholesale, meaning it's important for us to be connected to dispo wholesalers and to have a cash buyers list of our own and know agents with all the buyers and have access to the liquidity, right? But that's only one thing. And you can crush it. You'll make millions of dollars if, you really put this skill set to action just by doing that, just by assigning contracts. However, I want you guys to think about this. Over the next 2, 3, 4 years, if the market absolutely booms like it did before, then, and your only exit is to assign a deal and you don't have the ability to close on it yourself, you could be missing out on a ton of opportunity. Because let's think about this. Let's just say there's kind of a tight deal. Let's just say it's a wholesale type of deal, like just needs a little bit of love, but the numbers are kind of tight and all that. And maybe you might make $25,000 on the assignment if you assigned it. In a market that's absolutely booming, where the end buyers are coming in and going 50, 60, 70K over ask, guess what? If you just closed on that deal, cleaned it up really quick, and put it back up on the market, you can make like $150,000. Because here's what happens. Your buyers are going to be running ARVs based off of sold comps, right? So yeah, you're going to get people that are getting a little bit more optimistic about comps. You're going to get people that are, wanting to just get a deal done because there's no more deals because everybody is, scoffing them all up and it's hard to win bids. That's going to create some big assignment fees and stuff. However, their buy boxes don't really change. Like the way they are buying properties, the numbers that they are running, looking at ARVs from sold comps, like people are still going to be doing that. You see what I mean? So if the ARV is only calling for what the repairs are and stuff, is only calling for your assignment fee to be about $25,000, but you're in a market like the market that is booming, you're in that environment and you have the ability to close on it and just clean it up and put it back up on the market, you could miss out on an extra $125,000. Now, I'm not saying for every property that we get under contract we should be wholesaling, but I think when it comes to the market absolutely booming, we got to be wise about how we're making our decisions. So this is my business model. I like quick transactions. Like I want to get in, get out, Even with my flips, if we are in a flip, usually it's more of just a cosmetic type of deal. I do have a couple flips that are a little bit more extensive, but I like the quick get in, get out. So over the next like 3 or 4 years, right, we're still gonna wholesale like crazy, especially the properties that need a lot of love. Because here's the thing: you get into a property that needs $150,000 worth of work. It doesn't just need $150,000 worth of work. It also needs a lot of your time, because that's a lot. You're dealing with a bunch of subcontractors. You're dealing with a bunch of vendors and all that type of stuff in order to get that deal done, right? So for me, since we do a lot of fast transactions, I'm looking at, well, why don't we wholesale all the ones that are big rehabs, so it doesn't take a lot of our time, because at the end of the day I could just wholesale it and make a ton of money in 21 days rather than spending 9 to 12 months on it. I'd much rather do that and just move on to the next deal, and wholesale the majority of our stuff, but also have the ability to just close on properties really quick and put them back up on the market if they're ready for FHA, right? And if that's the case, then we need to acquire a couple other skill sets. One, we need to understand construction, right? So that you're not getting in there and screwing yourself. Like, there could be something wrong with the property that you're not seeing just because it looks like a good property. It looks like it's kind of renovated. It looks decent, but maybe there's some floor joists that are screwed up, and that's going to cost you an extra $25,000. So it's like, that's a skill set and a knowledge. I'm not going to say requirement, but like something that you want to be informed about. And you don't have to be informed yourself right now. You could just make a connection with a really good contractor and have him walk your properties and stuff like that. And the ability to go raise money. Because I know a lot of people are like, well, Mike, what the heck? I'm not going to have all the money for the down payment. If my hard money lender is needing $10,000, $20,000, well, guess what? On all of our flips, we never use any of our own money. We have private lenders that will fund, a whole entire deal, like full rehab, full purchase price. And we have lenders that will go in second position on, a down payment with a hard money lender, or whatever the case is. Like, there's so many different types of ways that we can close on a property. But it's a skill set of raising capital that has allowed us to do that, right? So that's the final skill set that you're going to want going into a season like this. Because at the end of the day, it's like, if you're looking at if you have a property under contract, let's just say ARV is $500,000 for the sold comps, and that's what all the buyers are looking at, and you have it under contract for, let's do this math really quick. So let's just say ARV is, 500 grand. You have it under contract for, let's call it like, 350, and it needs pretty much nothing, maybe $5,000 to $10,000 worth of cleanup. And you assign it to somebody. You assign it, you're going to make probably maybe 20 grand, maybe, if that. But let's just say the ARV right now, as we see, is 500. You have it under contract at 350, but really, while the market's going bananas, there's bidding wars and all these things. Let's just say it ends up selling at 575 or 600. It's like, dude, you could have easily just closed on the property, cleaned it up really quick, and made an extra $100-something thousand just by buying the property, cleaning it up, and waiting another 2 or 3 months. That is worth it, in my opinion. So it's like, as we're heading into this season, the foundation is getting good at finding off-market deals and sourcing them. And that goes along with a bunch of other skill sets, like your ability to generate leads and convert and close, right? Especially if you're a direct to seller. So those are the skill sets that you want to acquire for that. So that's the foundation. But we all know that. As wholesalers, that's the foundation. If we're really good at generating leads and we're really good at converting and negotiating, then we're always going to have deals. But if we also add these other skill sets, like having a good construction crew or understanding construction and being able to raise private capital, like your opportunity to make money is going to probably 3, 4x if this is what happens in the marketplace. So as we are moving forward into, 2025, and we're curious to see what happens with the election and what happens with the market, what happens with the interest rates and all that type of stuff, we are prepared to start closing on some properties if we need to. We're probably going to be kicking up our fix and flip company a little bit more, and that comes in the form of one, going out and raising more private capital and stuff like that. But here's the deal: when you are the buyer, you create another source of leads because you're the buyer, right? Like, you as the buyer, that holds a lot of weight. When you have the ability to just close on properties and do it, bada bing, bada boom, you're the person that can talk to the agent and let them know, like, hey, you find me a deal, I'm going to let you list it on the back end, right? You're the one that's able to talk to the wholesaler and say, you find me a deal and I'm going to give you 1% of the resale price, or I'm going to give you 10% of the net proceeds, or whatever the case is. You're able to negotiate and you're able to build relationships with those people, and that holds a lot of weight. So that brings a whole nother level of opportunity to yourself. So first things first, I would say we obviously know we need the skill set of generating leads. That's pretty easy. I wouldn't even call that a skill set. That's just, you could pay for leads. But definitely the skill set to close deals. Definitely the skill set to negotiate. And here's the deal: even if you aren't doing direct to seller, let's just say you're doing direct to agent, or you're talking to wholesalers trying to lock up deals. Brendan was just locking up a deal today, in the middle of trying to lock up a deal, actually, with a wholesaler. Right? This wholesaler has his property under contract. He's a wholesaler slash buyer, has a couple of properties that he bought, has a couple of properties that he has under contract, and Brendan's in live negotiation with this guy. So even if you are the dispo wholesaler, connecting with other wholesalers, getting their acquisitions, you are in sales. So that's the number one skill set to have: your ability to communicate effectively. If you have the ability to communicate effectively, then you'll be able to make money in any part of the business. And the ability to raise money and manage contractors and all that type of stuff is a whole nother level of skill set. But I would say foundationally, the ability to close deals is what really, really makes you the money. Like, you'll be good. And that's the deal. Brendan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it makes sense to me. I mean, that's why I got into this. I understand what you're saying. I mean, wholesalers seem to be able to make money in any market, but it should be interesting. I mean, to back up a little bit, one of my favorite things about you and working with you is that we've never talked politics, because it doesn't really have any place, because we got our blinders on for business. But inevitably, it's going to come around when you talk about the impact of whatever economic policies and platforms are being discussed. So it came up this week because I guess there were some announcements about how Trump was going to handle crypto and blockchain. And we were talking about how it sounded like Silicon Valley money was going to back that horse.
Mm.
So, I mean, does that make it more interesting? Who knows? I try to stay out of it because both sides are just a little bit crazy. And but you got to look at reality, I mean, when you hear the most successful people out there in the, you know, um, they have to talk about economics and policy. So it's worth talking about and getting prepared. But to your point, if you're skilled at sales, it doesn't matter what's going on.
Facts. It don't matter who's president. If you're skilled at sales, you're going to be all right. Now, going back to like what you were talking about, we don't really talk about politics too much. And like, it's not because I, fully disagree with people talking about politics and stuff like that, but I really just don't have too much of an opinion because I'm not educated on it. And for me, here's one thing. Here's one thing I am for sure. I will not talk about something confidently unless I really have a full understanding of it. Right. So that's why I don't really talk about politics too much, because I'm not so into the weeds with people's policies and stuff like that. I just don't know. I can only see what I can see. Right. So I can only see what I'm like searching for and seeking. I'm just not really seeking a lot of that stuff. So that's my deal. But I'm having like a tough time with Kamala and Trump because I'm an entrepreneur for one. I think it's very clear that Trump is obviously an entrepreneur and he wants, finances to be good. He wants the economy to be good. So like that kind of posed me that way. But then at the end of the day, it's like, all right, well, morally, where do I stand? Where do I stand in my faith? Where do I stand in the things I believe in and stuff that are really, really important? Right. So it's like a tug of war. I don't really know where to go, if I'm being completely honest with you. So that's my thoughts, and I really don't have a
Yeah,
strong.
I think, I don't know, whatever you guys think, but I'm starting to get the sense where like American citizens are starting to get fed up with both sides. So I don't know how that plays out because, there's just way too much static unnecessarily.
Yeah, it's interesting. And Brian has a good point. Like politics, like the way the whole country's ran, not even just business. That's what I'm saying. That's why I have such a hard time with this, because it's not just business. It's not just Mike the entrepreneur. It's Mike the future father. It's Mike the husband. It's Mike the, you see what I'm saying? So like laws and regulations and all that type of stuff. All that type of stuff comes into a factor, which is it's a hard decision to make. It ain't an easy decision to make. There's a lot to really think about. I think what helps me though, like, and what is going to help me with whatever decision that I go ahead and make, is my belief in the I would say my priority pyramid, right? My priority pyramid, the way that my personal priority pyramid goes is God first. So the Bible first, whatever's in the Bible, I believe in. I read the words. That's true. That's what I believe in. So if something's happening that doesn't align with that, then I can't move with that, right? So that's first. What's second is myself, my well-being. Is my cup filled, right? Whatever that means. This could be mental peace. This could be health, wealth, whatever it is my cup full? Am I sitting here stressed out every day, or do I have peace? Or do I have joy? Do I have happiness? That's what's number two. Because you guys all have seen this before, like, and you guys have heard this analogy, the airplane thing where, people say, hey, you got to put your mask on before you help anybody else. If the airplane's going down, you need to put your oxygen mask on before you put it on your kids, because you can't help anybody unless you were good. So that's why they say put yours on first. That's the idea behind it. Number three is my wife, right? Me and her are one. But I can't be of one with her if I'm not one with myself. If I'm not full myself, how can I be there for her? So that's why I'm before her. Number three is my wife. Number four is my future kids. I do not have kids at the moment, but number four comes the kids. And number five comes purpose, right? This is why I was put on the earth. This is like me waking up every day, helping the people that I'm called to help out, and whatever it is, doing what I'm called to do. That's number five. So that's my pyramid of priority, I would say. And clean the outside of the cup first, then you will see clearly to clean the outside. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So that's the pyramid of priority, and I think that helps when making decisions, right? Like, what is the priority? Like, for a perfect example, I have family members that have their own things going on, and I'm there for some of them, right? But I mean, I'm there for all of them, but like some of the things that they're going through, I can't bring into my family right now. Like it's just not a good time for that. It's not a good space. I need to protect my family's peace, like my internal family, me and my wife's peace, right? So if like somebody's intruding on that, even though they might need help, like if it comes at a sacrifice of me and my wife's peace, then I'm sorry, I can't have that, you know, because the priority. If I go out, think about this. If I go out and help one of my friends or family members or something like that, and it's pulling at my marriage, then that's robbing my marriage of what my marriage needs. It's robbing my marriage of being whole. And now, because my marriage is this is actually what happens. This is great. If we're thinking about these pyramids, right? And you guys can have your own beliefs and stuff like that and your own pyramid priority. But if we're thinking about it, what happens in a pyramid, here's the top, here's, the first part of the pyramid, which for me is God. God is overflowing. That's why I picked God as the top priority. He overflows. From his overflow, my cup gets filled up. My cup's down here, right? Now, as my cup fills up, it overflows, and it overflows into my marriage cup. And now my marriage cup is getting filled up. And now my marriage cup overflows into my future kids, or if I had kids at the moment, my kids' cups, right? And as that overflows, now I'm able to pour into my purpose cup. I'm able to pour into other people. I'm able to help people, right? All from the overflow. But when you start robbing parts of the pyramid, like if I start robbing my part of the pyramid, like me, if I start robbing that even from my marriage, right? If I start pouring into my marriage and it's not from my overflow, then I'm going to run dry. And then eventually there's not going to be anything left for the marriage, and there will be no flow to the marriage at all. So that's why it's important to like kind of prioritize things so what is flowing to what. And that's what helps me personally make decisions. So like as I'm making decisions based off of, who I'm going to vote for, if I end up voting, I have no idea. But that's kind of how I got to make the decision. Let's open it up for Q&A. Who wants to chat? Let's go. Nicole's working on her first deal. That's what I'm talking about. Nicole is working on her first deal. That's what I'm talking about, man. Tim said, what are your thoughts on AI lead generation? I think it's big. I think it's here to stay. I think people better get with the program or they're going to be left out. Because AI is going to be able to do the manpower of so much more than us humans could. That just is what it is. And for me, I think lead generation is the easiest thing. Right? It's not hard. Having a conversation with somebody for 2 or 3 minutes, finding somebody who's interested in selling, literally all you have to do, this is how you generate a lead. Ready, Brendan? Let's role play it. Let's role play a lead generation. You be the seller. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, this is Brendan.
Yeah, this is Brendan.
Hey, Brendan, my name is Mike. I work for a company called Silver Homes. We buy houses in the area. We were calling to see if you would ever consider selling your property.
Yeah, I got one I'm thinking about selling.
Okay, great. What's the address?
One is in 123 Main Street in Connecticut.
Love it. Okay. So what's got you interested in selling that property?
I'm moving back down south, so I'm looking for someone to buy it. There's one of the units has a tenant in it, one is vacant. So ideally, maybe someone wants to buy it and live in that second unit.
Okay. Okay. So, do you have an idea of what number you want, like how much you want for the property?
I'm looking to get maybe about 220.
Got it. 220. And if you got 220 for the property, when would you be looking to sell?
As soon as the buyer can close.
Okay, great. Well, here's what I'm going to do. My team is the one that's in charge of making all the offers and stuff. So I'm going to give your information to Brendan on my team. He's going to give you a shout here in the next hour or so, and we'll see if we can get you an offer.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Sounds good.
I'll be around. What time are you gonna call?
Boom. Done. How long was that? A minute?
Yep.
That's it. Now, is that how I'm having a conversation with a seller if I have like a motivated seller on the line? No, like I'm digging in, I'm having building more rapport, digging into more questions. Like, I'm having a 15 to 30 minute conversation, right? But as far as generating a lead, all's generating a lead is finding somebody who is interested in selling. That's it. That's it. And you let the closer do what the closer does. You let the closer take on the 15, 30, 45 minute conversation. So, do I think AI has the ability to overtake that conversation from a virtual assistant? 1000%. Because it ain't hard. It is not hard. And I love my virtual assistants. And I think virtual assistants are always going to have a space on our teams, no matter what. Let's just say tomorrow we replace all of our lead generation with I would still keep my virtual assistants on the team. They would be doing things like follow up and all that type of stuff. But as far as generating a lead,
Those are real people. Did you run into this ever? When I talk to people about our business and how we have virtual assistants, they hear that word, they hear virtual assistants, and they think it's like AI. So we should just start calling them assistants. Because virtual means they're not here in the office, they're in the Philippines or whatever.
mm-hmm.
But virtual assistant, people are like, oh, he's talking about AI.
Kind of sounds like that. But yeah, Tim, to answer your question, bro, Tim, let's bring you up, dog. I haven't spoke to you in a while, man.
What's going on, man?
What's going on,
Damn.
my guy?
Have you been following this prop AI that Pace is doing right now at all?
A little bit, and I'm intrigued.
Dude, it is nuts. So I was on one of the Zooms where he had everybody fill out a Google sheet and put their number in, and like I had a conversation with the AI. It's nuts, and it calls everybody almost simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty crazy.
That's bananas. So that's something that we're definitely looking into right now. As far as texting goes, for everybody in Blueprint, once we have like real proof of concept and we've maybe gotten some appointments and deals from it, we just launched this over like the last week and a half. But I connected with a guy who has a texting platform that works, right? Where right now it's like I think there's tiers every single day we go up by like 500 texts that we have for a limit. Right now we're at like 2,500 or something like that we could send per day, which is a lot, right? That's like all we need. Back when I was texting at a high level, each assistant was only texting 1,000 texts per day, and we were crushing it, right? And now we're able to do 2,500. So, and they're all getting delivered, and it's good. It's good stuff. So I'm gonna bring that to the gang once we have proof of concept and we've done some deals and stuff like that, and maybe got some appointments. But built in that is an AI bot. So you don't even need the virtual assistant to be there. I want my virtual assistants there to like test it out and see what we got going on and stuff to really feel it out. But what the guy has is a software where he implements the AI so the text gets sent out. So the way that it works for me, right, is we set up a campaign. A campaign has a specific time frame of when the texts go out. Like, hey, send 5 texts every other minute, right? And it'll just keep dripping those texts out over the course of the day. And my VAs will just sit there and reply to everybody. But he has an AI that not only like sends the text out through a drip all day, but he also has an AI replying to all the texts. You see what I mean? So you don't even need the virtual assistants to reply. And then once there's a motivated seller, boom, it pops up into the queue. Which is like that is bananas. So it's the same thing with this prop AI thing. Prop AI is pretty much a cold caller that's calling a bunch of people. You give them a script to say, and they go ahead and go make it happen. Which, dude, how do you overtake that manpower? Like, that's a lot. That's like infinite manpower, which is bananas. So, and here's what I look at. This is a numbers game. Since the beginning, since I've been in real estate, that's all I've been taught. This is a numbers game. How many doors are you knocking? How many people are you calling? How many texts are you putting out? Like, how many sticky notes are you putting on doors? How many mailers are you putting out? It's a numbers game. I've been taught that since like day one in real estate. So what I look at is when people ask me, Mike, how are you guys doing this many transactions in this market where it's tough and da 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 da? I'm like, bro, how many calls are you doing per day? Well, I called like maybe 10 people today. I'm like, dude, my team, and this isn't to brag, but my team is doing like thousands of calls per day. Like, how do you compete with that? And they're like, holy crap, really? It's like, yes, dude, if you call thousands of people per day and text thousands of people, you're gonna find the people that are interested in selling. You're gonna weed through, you're gonna talk to 900 to 1,000 people that are gonna tell you to go kick rocks. But you're going to find somebody who's interested. So if you have an AI that can 10x that, bro, that's ridiculous. It doesn't even have to be the same quality. But yeah, so to your point, definitely get ready for some AI. And I'm going to be doing some research into that too, and we'll probably do some testing for the cold calling aspect of AI because that's just really interesting. All right, let's ask, are you currently using AI? Sort of. We're using AI for the text, kind of. Like it's an automatic drip campaigns. It was kind of like an AI, but AI is more so like the AI that I was explaining is another level of the text platform, and they legit have a full blown conversation with the person, like via text. So once I have generated, a decent amount of leads and we have some appointments, maybe some contracts and stuff from that lead generation source, 100%, I'm going to bring that to Blueprint and let you guys know. Because it's like a set it and forget it thing. It's like you set the campaign and the texts go out like bananas. And you can control the times that they go out. So let's just say you don't even have a virtual assistant. Let's just say you have an AI, right? Like replying to all the text messages. You can say, hey, only shoot these text messages out from, let's just say you get home from work at 4 p.m., right? You could say, hey, only shoot these text messages out from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. So the AI is having conversations for the 3 hours before you get home, and then boom, they're popped up into your queue by the time you get home. And you're able to be like, oh, wait, I have these people that are interested in selling. Let me call them. It's nuts. Absolutely nuts.
And is the texting platform you're using now bypassing all the hurdles we were facing earlier in the year?
Yes, to a point. To a point. Now, what stinks about it is we still have to send out an opt-out message. So like each text that goes out initially has like, reply yes to opt out or whatever, or reply out to opt out, which kind of hurts our conversion. But we're able to send out a really good amount of texts. You see what I mean? Like, so, and at the end of the day, the people that are interested will reply like regularly. You know what I mean? They won't opt out if they are really interested.
Yeah, that's one thing with the prop AI with the cold callers. There's no call recordings because there would need to be not really an opt-in, but just a notification that this call is being recorded. And I think possibly like a disclosure that you're speaking to an AI. So there's calls transcripts that you can read, but there's no recordings, at least right now. But this is like infancy right now.
Interesting. So you can see like the text, like the script of it, of what the virtual assistant said.
And I haven't pulled the trigger on a VA or anything. I'm actually seriously considering this, but basically once your campaign runs, you can just export it to Excel, and then in the spreadsheet, it'll give you a transcript of, any actual conversations that happened.
So good.
But the calls are all going out pretty much simultaneously. So if you call 1,000 calls and you get 100 answers, it doesn't take all day. It takes a half hour.
Right, exactly.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's bananas. We're going to have to bring that into Blueprint. We got to try it out. Going to try it out. Yeah, man, be ready. AI's taking this thing over. And I'm a firm believer that AI will not take over the best salespeople. They might take over some of the salespeople that stink. They might. But the top salespeople that know what they're doing, that really connect with people, that really are able to close the deals, AI won't be able to take that over. Because you can't mimic a human-to-human connection. And AI will never be able to go on an on-site appointment and sit belly to belly with a seller, like really feeling what they're going through.
Definitely a lot of benefits. A little bit foreboding, I think, just in terms of like the deep fake stuff. It could get a little confusing as the years roll by and things get even more realistic, because you're going to start to say, well, what am I looking at here? But who knows?
Dude, it's crazy how realistic this AI sounded. You could kind of tell, especially if you try to ask some tricky questions, then you trip it up. But yeah,
Man,
I'm
when
curious to
was
see how it's
that?
going to get regulated though, too.
When was that Zoom? When was that Zoom?
So if
Like
you go
family
into
night?
it's it was partially on family night, yeah. But if you go into the Zoom calendar, the next gen Zooms,
Okay.
I think they're Monday. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Monday, Friday, Saturday, or something. It's random, but it's sub 2 only right now, obviously.
Cool. Yeah, let's check it out.
Brian said, I can't wait until we can choose a Morgan Freeman as the AI voice. Yo, that would convert so many leads.
I'm sure it's already there.
A Denzel AI voice?
Southern Belle. Some
What, bro?
Southern yes.
Listen, interesting. Things are getting interesting. All right, gang, I'm going to catch y'all. Miss y'all. Love y'all. I will catch y'all next time. Peace.